bodies weren't falling for him at some points in that fight. But I believe we won that fight. Clearly, we should be two-time world champion right now.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis is back at it, and this time, Lamont Roach Jr. is in his sights. After their fight ended in a controversial draw, Tank didn't hold back, making it clear exactly how he felt. And it's not just that. Tank's rivals are already taking shots at him, calling out his "pretty boy" excuse in the ring. This has set the stage for some big fights in the near future. But right now, Tank seems focused on one thing: money. That became clear when he revealed the fighter he planned to call out if he had beaten Roach.
Who were you gonna call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here.
I ain't gonna do him.
He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
Here's what you missed. During a heated live session, Tank mocked Roach, insisting he was still the better fighter and that Roach should be grateful he wasn't knocked out. But Roach wasn't backing down. He fired back, saying Tank gave it everything he had and still couldn't get the win. Now that things are cooling down, it looks like Tank might not be finished with Roach just yet.
Nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in the, I lost track in the.
The fight itself was a solid one. Roach came in sharp, outworking Tank in several rounds and making a huge statement in the 9th. That's when he landed a shot that shook the boxing world. Tank took a knee. Most fans and analysts saw it as a clear knockdown, but the referee didn't call it. That moment changed everything. If the call had gone Roach's way, he would have scored the biggest win of his career. Instead, the fight ended in a majority draw, and Tank held on to his WBA lightweight title. Despite the controversy, Tank has been in full troll mode ever since. The moment he got the chance, he jumped on social media to remind Roach that he's still the champion and that a draw wasn't enough for him to claim victory. "You should be thanking me for not ending your career," Tank posted. In another, he completely dismissed Roach's performance, saying, "You had the fight of your life and still couldn't beat me." But Roach isn't the type to stay quiet. He fired back, telling Tank that deep down, he knew the truth. Davis gave it everything he had and still couldn't put him away.
They was both even. If you watch the fight, they was both watching each other. Sometimes they stood right in front of each other, was just trying to figure out where the holes was at. It was a very skillful fight.
And which is one of the things that when you fight somebody that you know.
"You know what happened in that ring," Roach said during an Instagram live session. "You felt it. You did your best, and you still couldn't beat me. Told you, I'm no Frank Martin." It was a direct challenge, and Tank clearly didn't like it. Davis quickly fired back, addressing the knee that had everyone talking. "Man, y'all keep bringing up that knee," he said. "I took a knee because I wanted to, not because he did anything special. I was just chilling, thinking about what I was gonna eat after the fight." But everyone knows the truth. That moment showed a rare sign of vulnerability from Davis, and Roach isn't letting it go. He's keeping the pressure on, making sure Tank doesn't forget.
I thought I was doing my thing, so I'm not really that frustrated about that. But if that was kind of a knockdown, I would win a majority decision.
All this back and forth is making Tank rethink his future. Before the Roach fight, he was clear about his plans. 3 more fights, then retirement by the end of 2025. But that controversial draw changed everything. Now, Davis isn't so sure about walking away just yet. "Yeah, it definitely changed my plans," he admitted at the post-fight press conference. "I probably got 4 more fights now."
For your future.
Yeah, it definitely changed my plans. It definitely changed my plans. I probably got like 4 more fights now. For sure.
It's a complete shift from where he was just months ago. At the end of 2024, Tank made it clear He was tired of boxing and ready to walk away. His plan was set. But now he's got something to prove. That draw against Roach is clearly bothering him, even if he won't admit it. His constant trolling says it all. But while Tank is busy trolling, Keyshawn Davis is on a mission to expose him, and he's not holding back. Since Tank's controversial draw with Roach, Keyshawn has been all over social media, making it clear he never believed the hype. To Keyshawn, Tank's whole aura has been built on promotion, not true skill. And after watching him struggle against Roach, he's doubling down on that belief. He's convinced Tank isn't what people think he is, and he's making sure everyone knows, if they ever step in the ring, he's putting Tank down, no question.
Fight playing out, what's the biggest advantage that Keyshawn has against
Tank?
Yeah,
He's a great boxer. He sounds a great boxer, and he got power behind it too. So I can see that fight just being an entertaining fight. Keyshawn's the entertainer, like we said. Tank comes in there trying to knock you out. I can see that fight just being entertained and doing later rounds. Keyshawn stop.
Keyshawn first spoke out on Instagram Live, and he didn't hold back when talking about Tank's performance. "I feel like Lamont won, let's start there," he said, making sure everyone knew exactly where he stood. "I feel like Lamont definitely won. A draw is what it is, I ain't hating on the decision, but I felt like Lamont Roach pulled it off." But he wasn't just sharing an opinion, he came with receipts. If the 9th round knee had been ruled a knockdown, Roach would have won on 2 of the 3 scorecards and become the new WBA lightweight champion. Instead, Tank kept his belt, and the controversy only fueled the debate about whether he's really the best at 135. "If they ran it back, y'all already know what would happen," Keyshawn added, making it clear he believes Roach would win a rematch without question.
And not I'm talking about the opponent. Burn check. I just don't like how.
This wasn't just about Roach, it was about Keyshawn putting himself in the mix. He doesn't just believe Roach beat Tank, he's convinced he would do even worse to him. "I'm the best at 135, man," he said confidently. "Either one of them guys, I'm knocking them out." There was no hesitation, no doubt. He spoke like a man who already knows what's coming. "I'm telling you, if you give me either one before their rematch, they're getting put down. I ain't playing. I'll put all these guys down." The message was loud and clear. Tank and Roach can run it back all they want, but it won't matter. If Keyshawn gets to either of them first, he'll be the one taking over the division.
But I don't want to fight one of them. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who I fight at this point. I don't care. But I'm telling you, if you give me either or before they rematch, I'm fucking their rematch up. They getting put. I'm telling you, I ain't even playing. I ain't playing, bro. I'm young. I'm on fire. I'm young and I'm on fire.
Then came the moment when Keyshawn really went at Tank. "Don't say Tank will knock me out no more. I'm shutting that shit down right now. Don't even fix your mouth to say this man could knock me out. Crazy." This wasn't just trash talk, it was a complete dismissal of everything Tank's name is built on. The power, the knockouts, the fear factor. Keyshawn isn't buying any of it. In his mind, Tank has never faced someone like him, and he's making it clear that if they ever meet in the ring, it'll be a whole different fight than anything Tank has dealt with before.
And I thought I should have won a competitive fight. I think I did what I needed to do necessary to bank the rounds, and even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown. So I don't think there's any excuse for me not to win tonight, but that's just how the cookie crumbled.
Keyshawn isn't just talking. There's a real chance he could be next for Tank. While Tank has said he's open to a rematch with Roach, he made it clear that it won't be his next fight. That's got fans wondering, if not Roach, then who? Names like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are in the mix, but so is Keyshawn Davis. And with how personal he's making this, a fight between him and Tank would have a build-up unlike anything we've seen in a while. Keyshawn isn't just calling out Tank's last fight, he's calling out his entire career. He's saying Tank has never been what people make him out to be, claiming he's only been matched with opponents who make him look good, not real threats.
Particular quality. If I'm Tank Davis and I'm coming off a disappointment in terms of my offensive output, I'm not going straight to the best defender in the division. I'm looking for some other fight, and I think the logical fight for him is a rematch with Lamont Roach.
Now that Tank has finally been in a real fight, Keyshawn sees it as proof that the myth is crumbling, and he wants to be the one to finish the job. But the criticism isn't just coming from him. Tim Bradley, one of Tank's toughest critics for years, has constantly questioned his level of opposition and how his career has been managed. Yet even he had to admit that Tank had something special, especially after the way he handled the Saudis. Over time, Bradley started to respect certain things about Tank, even if he didn't always agree with how he carried himself. But after watching him against Lamont Roach Jr., that respect is gone.
I think when he found out, man, this guy is in front of me, he's taking it, I think it was too late. I thought it was disappointing that he didn't end the draw.
It wasn't just Tank's performance, it was his attitude. The way he carried himself, the sense of entitlement, the belief that he could do whatever he wanted and still come out on top. Bradley has seen it all in boxing, but Tank's behavior that night had him shaking his head. He expected a dominant win, something that would shut down the critics and prove Tank was still the top guy at 135. Instead, Tank looked vulnerable, and even worse, like he thought he was bigger than the sport itself.
Can you see who it is? Hey, who is the dude? Who is the dude?
Bradley was disgusted by what he saw, and he didn't hold back in his analysis. He felt Tank was given an unfair advantage, that the fight was being controlled to protect him instead of letting the action play out naturally. The 9th round incident was the clearest example. Bradley had never seen a fighter take a knee like that, stop the action on his own terms, and have the referee completely ignore it. That was the moment he realized Tank wasn't just the A-side, he was being treated like boxing royalty, with the rules bent in his favor. For someone like Bradley, who built his career on doing things the hard way, that was unacceptable.
Ain't the rules up. Yeah, that was bullshit. It should have been called a knockdown. You can't take a break like that. The only person that can do that is the referee. The referee can stop the action and say, hey, let me take it to the...
Bradley also had a problem with Tank's attitude during the fight. There was no urgency, no real effort to take control when the fight started slipping away. It was as if Tank believed his status alone would be enough to secure the win, like the judges wouldn't dare score it against him. Bradley had seen fighters lose their hunger before, but this felt different. Tank wasn't just coasting, he was acting like he didn't need to do more than the bare minimum. And to Bradley, that was a serious problem.
Stop closing up. Gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around.
Bradley's frustration ran even deeper because he had actually started to come around on Tank. After his knockout win over Ryan Garcia, Bradley gave him credit for showing patience, timing, and a high ring IQ. He even defended Tank against critics who called him overrated, arguing that his power made him one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport. But this fight changed everything. Tank's unwillingness to push himself, his reliance on status over skill, it all made Bradley question whether he had been wrong to give him that credit in the first place. For Bradley, boxing is about discipline, heart, and the willingness to dig deep when things get tough. He had been in wars, pushed himself to the absolute limit, and never once expected special treatment. That's why this whole situation disgusted him. He didn't care how talented Tank was. If he wasn't willing to fight like a champion, then he was never a real champion. But despite all the backlash, Tank Davis seems to have reached a point where the fans' opinions don't matter to him anymore. He's not focused on proving himself against the best in his division.
Okay. We still got to see each other. You say he want to fight me, so we gonna fight.
But what do you think about the decision?
I told Lamont won.
You told Lamont won. Got you. I'll talk to you later.
Tank isn't focused on legacy right now. It's all about the money. And if that's the case, Jake Paul is the biggest payday on the table. The signs are everywhere. Jake was in Tank's locker room before the fight. The cameras made sure to highlight him during the broadcast. And when Tank was asked about his next opponent, he dodged the question like he already knew the answer. Even when the media pressed him on it, he refused to say Jake's name. That could mean negotiations are already in motion, and he's just holding back until the time is right to make it official. A fight with Jake Paul wouldn't be about competition, it would be strictly business. Jake knows how to sell a fight, and Tank is clearly prioritizing big paydays over tough challenges. He already hinted that a rematch with Lamont Roach isn't happening next, even though the controversy makes it the most logical choice. The WBA should be ordering an immediate rematch, but Tank doesn't seem interested. And if they try to force it, he could just vacate the title and move on. That's how little the belts matter to him now. So if he's done defending his title, why not go all in and take the biggest spectacle fight he can get? Size-wise, this fight makes no sense. Jake Paul walks around at 200 pounds and has even gone as high as 227 for his fight with Mike Tyson. Tank, on the other hand, is a natural 135-pounder, maybe 140 at most. Even if Jake somehow drained himself down to 185, there would still be a massive 45-pound difference. But this isn't about fairness, it's about selling a fight. Jake has called out smaller fighters before, including Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor. Facing Tank would just be the next chapter in his circus of fights. Jake knows exactly how to stir the pot and turn fights into must-see events. He's already dropping hints that he'd destroy Tank because of the size difference while still showing him some respect as a fighter. That kind of talk keeps the conversation going. He's planting the seed, and Tank seems open to it. If Tank was really interested in fighting Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson, he would have said their names when asked. Instead, he played it coy, dodged the question, and let the speculation build. That's the exact formula for how a Jake Paul fight gets promoted.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
4 years, Tank's fans stood by him whenever his competition was questioned, insisting his power alone made him the most dangerous fighter in the sport. But after his performance against Roach, even his biggest supporters are having a hard time defending him. He didn't look dominant, and his attitude afterward showed he's not taking these fights seriously. If his next move is a fight with Jake Paul, it'll be clear as day. He's not chasing legacy, he's chasing paydays.
No, I'm not.
He's a champ though too, undefeated.
And what champ? Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
A fight with Jake would bring mainstream attention like never before. Tank is already a star in boxing, but Jake Paul attracts an entirely different audience. This wouldn't be about real competition, it would sell purely because of the names involved. Casual fans would love it, hardcore boxing fans would hate it, but either way, it would generate massive money. Some might think Tank is just trolling and would never actually fight Jake, but here's the thing, he hasn't denied it. When the idea was mentioned, he didn't laugh it off or shut it down. He simply moved on to the next question. That's not how a fighter reacts to a ridiculous rumor. That's how someone responds when something is quietly being negotiated behind the scenes.
Go ahead, Dez, get in the ring, Dez.
The biggest issue with all of this is that Tank still has unfinished business at lightweight. He's got top-tier challengers lined up, fighters like Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and even Gervonta Davis, who's been calling him out non-stop. If Tank wants to prove he's the best at 135, those are the fights he needs to take. But if he chooses Jake Paul instead, then it's clear, he's given up on greatness. He's no longer chasing a legendary career, just the biggest payday. And right now, Jake Paul is that payday. What do you think happens next? Did Lamont Roach outclass Tank? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe for more.